Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it rain.
Didn't have myself muted, but I had the camera off. So sorry about that, guys. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody doing? We are on hump day. It's the 22nd of January, Wednesday, all day, all day. So how is everybody? Oh, I forgot to put that. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, guys. Oh, wow, Mary. Were you? Ooh, you probably have the goods then. You might know a lot more than we know. And thank you, Mary Beth, for gifting out 20 memberships. My goodness. Thank you so much. I saw that. I had to look twice. I was like, 20 memberships. That's a lot of new members. So welcome in, all new members. Make sure you tell Mary Beth thank you. That's very generous. Very, very generous. Hey, Ladybug. Hey, Mary Beth. How you guys doing? The mods of the chat. The ladies. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Mike. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Lori. Hey, Frenchie. Welcome in, guys. My dogs wanted out, and now it sounds like they want it back in. Hey, Mandy. I think it's because of the loud music. My one dog hates loud music. She hates any kind of music, actually. She's very weird. If I turn on music and I'm like, dancing around or like, just in a good mood, and she hates it. She's like, don't be in a good mood around me, lady. Hey, Varla. Oh, well, wanted to say hi. Oh, well, hopefully you're still in. And we said hi to you. Hey, Faith. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, DM. I don't know if I said hey to DM. Who got the most snow tonight? I didn't get any snow. We haven't gotten any more snow, which is good. It's just a big sheet of ice. A big old sheet of ice out there. It is so bad. I'm gonna bust my butt. It's gonna happen. I just don't know when. And I hope it doesn't. But I mean, it's pure ice. Like, and I have a really good pair of like boots that like they're like heavy, like heavy winter boots. And I never thought I'd really wear them. Well, I need like the little metal things that go on the bottom. I have sleigh dogs, Hey, SSD. My dogs pull me, so. But they've been really good. They've been so good. They've been so good. I've been like, please don't pull me, and they haven't. So 6 degrees. It's like 1 degree here. It's literally. Oh wait, I lied. It's 14 degrees here now, but it was 1 degree earlier. Tomorrow's supposed to be up to 12. It's going to be like summer. I'm gonna have a bathing suit on. I saw something about that, Mary, about that girl that got pregnant by like an 11-year-old or something like that. Well, I switched the title. I don't know if you can see it on this one because you can't see it up here, but I did switch the title because our girl Nancy came out with a podcast. Well, first I thought it was podcast, then I found the video version. So I was like, well, hello, but I don't have her out. I need to bring her out. Hey, True Crime Lullabies. Hey, Sunshine. Hey, Mr. Rosebud. I don't know if I said hey to you. Hey, Captain Ganja. Welcome in. If I didn't say hi, I'm going towards the bottom. I'm sorry. Hey, Lenora. The one eye, gets me. Hey, Yvonne. Hey, Austin. Oh, I'm all the way up here still. Hey, Mia. / Naomi. Hey, Ashley. How you doing? Hey, Mary. Yeah, we're talking. That's the one I was reading. Retired correctional officer from Monroe County where Kohberger was held. How do they treat their inmates there? Pretty easy. Is it a pretty easy jail, I mean, compared to, is the food like the jail food, the normal jail food, or is it better? Like in, what's that place called that, wherever Diddy is, the DMC or whatever jail, they have like steak that you can order, chicken Parmesan, like what? Hey, Austin. Hey, Chantel. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Proud Mimi. Did I say, Yvonne, did I say hi to you? I thought I did, but now I can't remember. Mary Beth, you didn't have to do that. You should get out another membership. Thank you so much. Petunia Pickle Boots. You got snow in Florida yet? Did you see the views that JLR got on his last live? 270 some thousand views or something like that? Because there's snow in Florida. Get out there with your camera, girl. Just get out there with the camera. I'm telling you, it's like all he was doing, which what I saw, like, it's not like, I mean, he was just driving, but I guess he knows how to drive in snow. He's been places other than, Florida. So, but yeah, be careful out there. I'm trying not to break a hip. I'm trying not to break my face or anything. My legs scare me, that's what scares me. Yeah. Cold in Ohio, I thought you said cold in Ohio where I am also. I'm like, oh, you're in Ohio too. Yeah. Austin, do you like the snow? How do you guys feel about the snow that's never got snow? Oh, Montreal, it's always cold up there. I feel like it's always cold in Canada. Every time I've been there, it's been cold anyway. You have snow boots, you just don't use them much. Me either. My cat loves to rub all over them because there's like a little bit of this like fur, but not like fur. It's more of like I don't know what it's called. This stuff like on blankets. It's kind of like that. Vincent got them for me for last Christmas. So, well, Mary Beth is going to make everybody green today. Thank you. The Maven, hello. Hate the cold weather. I'm not a big fan of cold weather. Just, the metal, the Monroe Chateau. Oh, well then, he's not, I'm sure Latol wasn't very good. Now, I can't remember, is Monroe, I believe it is. It's underground, right? Like underneath the jail. Like the jail, I'm sorry, is underneath the courthouse. That's how it is where I grew up. And that's how it was in Latah County. So I didn't see it, but I saw it. And I'm just, Sebastian's case is like a freaking free for all. Their food sucks. I think every jail, their food sucks probably. Hey, Laura Lee. Yeah, not the place you want to be, but I'm telling you, if you're in segregation and you can get some good food, the way they were saying, like the food menu, we looked over the food menu one day, and I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. Hey, Happy Life. Mike made it back. I'm still going through the names, so it's okay. Hey, Jenna. I feel like at this point, I got everybody almost. Hey, Steve Robertson. Hey, Tony. It was nice and sunny in Alberta, Canada. Hey, Candy Wrapper. It's been cold in Utah. It's been a while since I've seen you, though. It feels like. Haven't had a lot of snow. Oh yeah, no, we got a little bit of snow here, and I'm at the bottom now. But when I go out in it, I have to like bundle up. I'm talking, I always wear like leggings and then a tank top and then sometimes a t-shirt and a sweatshirt and sweatpants, and I'm bundled. I don't like to be cold. Now, if you don't like to be cold, there is an outfit in my boutique. It's brown. It's a brown shirt and a brown pair of pants. It's a 2-piece. Telling you what, you won't need a coat. I have it. It doesn't fit anymore. And I don't want to like get another one, so I'm just waiting until I lose the weight so I can wear it again. But it used to keep me really, really warm. Really, really warm. But we're going to talk about Bryan Kohberger this evening. We're going to talk about some updates. We are still going over like, the beginning of everything. We're still doing that series, but we've had some updates. So we'll just throw in these videos as they come along. Today, he went to court. I had no idea that this was going to happen today. His court date was supposed to be the 23rd and 24th. So imagine my surprise when I get on YouTube. I just literally, I just woke up from a nap. I never take a nap. Your girl does not. She just does not take naps. I said, I have not taken a nap in a while. I need to rest because I'm one of those, I go, nonstop. So I lay down for like an hour, wake up. It's like 5 minutes till it's going to be on. I'm like thinking, do I make a thumbnail? Do I go on? Is this going to be like a really super long proceeding to where, I'm not even prepared and I'm like dying through it because I'm not even prepared for it. And so that's why I was like, let's just go over it tonight, which was better because it was only 30 minutes. It wasn't even that long. Thank you, Mary Beth. I'm telling you, everyone's going to be green. Make sure you thank Mary Beth for all the memberships. Thank you, Mary Beth. Doodlebug, don't you be lurking. Don't you be lurking in the bushes. But what I was going to do tonight is go over some of the legal documents that come out and just read some articles. But since Nancy's come out with a podcast or with a video, we'll listen to her because she's going to have a lot to say. But we will go over this article that I found first before we do that. It says no show, and then it says appearance excused by judge. This TMZ's they're very clickbaitish. Because look, it says Bryan Kohberger, no show at crucial hearing in murder case. I should have made this my title. Appearance excused by judge. He doesn't really have to be there if he doesn't want to be there. I don't think it has to be excused by the judge. I think he could just say, I'm not going. Hey, late girl. Put down the binoculars. Ashley said. I haven't heard that before. That's funny. That was funny. That made me laugh because it almost makes me think of like people people literally in the in the bush, like clipping lives and stuff, Put down the binoculars. Man, that's funny. That made me laugh anyway. Bryan Kohberger not in court for his first hearing of 2025 because the judge decided to excuse him for Wednesday's proceedings. Attorneys for the alleged murderer appeared before the judge for the first time in 2025, attempting to get a large swath of DNA evidence connected to his family tossed by a judge. Yeah. The appearance is streaming live, but the courtroom itself is closed to the public because the judge wants the ability to seal proceedings. He wants the ability to be able to cut the camera at any time. The case has been conducted mostly in secrecy while the court tries to ensure Kohberger receives a fair trial. There's his new mugshot if you have not seen it. To that end, the trial was moved from Moscow, Idaho to about an hour's flight south to Ada County, the county where Boise, Idaho is located, and the judge has put a gag order in place to keep the victims' families from speaking publicly about the case. Today's hearing began with lawyer Wendy Olson speaking on behalf of various media organizations, asking the judge to open the case up for more media coverage. The judge says they will decide tomorrow which parts of the hearing will be open to the public, but he will be closing the evidentiary portion of the hearing about key DNA evidence connected to Kohberger's family, saying he can't unring the bell once the public hears that information. So, no names are going to be they're going to use abbreviations tomorrow. How long do you think it's going to take us to figure out who's who when their name is just going to be abbreviated? I watched the proceedings today. I did that for both of us because they were kind of boring. So it says he will decide after the hearing tomorrow whether to release a transcript regarding the DNA evidence. I doubt he does. If it has names in it and I guess he could redact them. He said he's going to do initials. But we're going to know. They're going to know, we're going to know. Kohberger's attorney says they want these hearings open to the public, but the judge says he is worried about seating a jury not overly exposed to media coverage. He says he has to weigh the public's right to know balanced against the right to a fair jury. And that's what the defense was complaining about up in Latah County. They weren't going to get a fair jury. So why would they want to open up the whole case knowing that they wouldn't get a fair jury if they did that? I don't understand. I think that this is a ploy, let's throw this out there and make it sound like, we want all this evidence to be out because we have nothing to hide over here. Prosecutors believe Kohberger snuck into the off-campus home and slaughtered 4 victims, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kayla Goncalves, and left his DNA behind on the sheath of a hunting knife. Kohberger was arrested in Pennsylvania while visiting his family after driving cross-country with his dad from Washington State University in late 2022. The case has captured all kinds of true crime fans, sparking internet theories and inspiring online sleuths to deep dive into the case. Kohberger hasn't appeared in court since November 7th of last year, where he wore a coat and tie to the proceedings. So it's been a few months since we've seen him, or a couple of months, I'd say. His trial is currently scheduled for August 2025, though that could change. Just in your nightly prayers, maybe say hey man, big man, don't let that trial change. Because really, that would suck. And sorry, I was on the other page. Yeah, go tap that like button. It is free. Thank you, candy wrapper. That sounds good, Mary Beth. I just ate too. I'm hungry again. I've been eating so much. Hey, KCG. But I think it's because I'm working out. And so, Yeah, in PA, you don't have to go to court. That's how it is in Ohio also. Like, you can just say you don't wanna go. And that's the same in, I believe, in Idaho as well. I believe, you say, "I just don't wanna go," and they just, "Okay, then." So, let's see where the, uh, poll is. Everybody make sure you vote on this poll, and I swear, y'all, this ain't an early one. Okay, I'm about to say if I wake up early, this is not an early one. But like one time I did a poll and then like we streamed it and there was like 20 of us in there and I was like, where'd everybody go? Because we're gonna make sure we make it worthwhile. We're gonna make sure we're understanding things as they're going along. I want to make sure that if we're going to be there all day, we'll know about it beforehand, those things. But it is scheduled here for tomorrow at 11 a.m. So that's 11 their time. So it'll be 1 o'clock our time because they're mountain time. I'm Eastern Standard Time. They used to be 4 hours ahead or 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours ahead when it was in Latah County. But now I believe it's 2 hours ahead. So, hey, Aries. I don't know if I said hi to Wizard Walt, but hello, Walt. So this hearing is going to be for the IGG, how much information they're going to allow out. If they're going to. So part of the hearing is going to be like an evidentiary portion about the DNA evidence and about Kohberger's family. And so what they're going to do is probably redact some of the names. They said they were going to use maybe abbreviations instead of the names. And they're going to talk about like what they're going to allow, like going forward to be open and not under the dissemination order, it sounds like. So it sounds like a pretty big hearing. So I'm excited to hear about it. I got Nancy on the worst face too. Of course I do. So Nancy did a video tonight. I was like, dang, she quick. Lady's quick. She's quicker than quick. I was on Twitter and I was trying to like get more stuff for this case. And I was like, I saw that she did like a minute clip and I'm like, she doesn't do that. So I found her on the podcast and then I finally found her over here on Merit TV. So, hey, Erwin. So yeah, I'm going to, so I'll make sure that we stream tomorrow. Oh, that'd have been Mary Beth. Mary Beth Bacon. Everybody green. Okay. Sorry, Nancy. And her jacket she looks good in leather. I ain't gonna lie. Nancy looks good in leather. I don't think I can pull off leather quite like Nancy does.
Kohberger now pointing the finger at
Oh, and she got a new haircut. Woo, Nancy. Remember that stuff that used to hang, like the curls? It was like she got that all cut off. Looking good, Nance.
Another home invader with a ski mask and a knife. Kohberger back in court as Idaho brings back the firing squad. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
My niece called and she was very frantic and she was asking me if I had talked to Kaylee. Kaylee's phone goes directly to voicemail. Start playing Maddie. Nobody's answering. It's ringing. So we turn on the TV and then we see live news coverage at Kaylee's house, 122 King Road. Kaylee and Maddie are both dead. A quadruple homicide.
Idaho lawmakers so moved by the slaughter of 4 beautiful University of Idaho students, they are bringing back the firing squad as a potential first choice of execution in death penalty cases. This as we learn that Bryan Kohberger's defense is actually going to try pointing the finger at another masked home invader with a knife. Listen.
Where did you see this person?
I was asleep.
And then I woke up and it was just me and Sadie home at the time, and we both lived down in the basement, and my door was closed. I heard my door open, and I looked over, and someone was wearing a ski mask and had a knife like this. And so I kicked the out of their stomach and screamed super loud, and they flew back into my closet and then ran out my door and up the stairs.
It almost makes me think that somebody was specifically targeting that person. You know what I mean? Like they went to a specific room and would know how to get into this place.
Wait a minute. Did you just hear what this female victim says? This was just a few months before the deadly slaying of 4 University of Idaho students, and the similarities are overwhelming. Now, what's the defense going to do with this? They're going to say, oh, that guy, some other dude did it, and it's that guy, because look at the similarities here. Straight out to Sydney Sumner joining us, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. The victim, the female victim with another female roommate, asleep with a multi-tiered.
I'm like, how do I pause her? I think that they debunked that and said that that wasn't Bryan, but how did they know that that wasn't Bryan? I forget how they said, why they said that they didn't think it was him. That they're talking about somebody came in to these 2 women's house. I think it was 2 ladies that lived there, and was holding a knife, had his face had a face mask on, maybe a ski mask. That would be a little bit different, but I can't remember how they debunked it. If not, I'll look it up.
In a multi-tiered structure.
But Nancy ain't letting that go.
Living down in the basement, door closed. All of the things I'm emphasizing right now, Sydney, are direct similarities to the Idaho slayings. I heard my door open like the Idaho victims did. I looked over, someone was wearing a ski mask, like allegedly Kohberger wearing a mask. He had a knife, like Kohberger allegedly had a knife. I screamed. They flew back and ran out my door and onto the stairs, like in the Idaho case. The officer, it makes me think someone specifically targeting that person, like they went to a specific room and would know how to get into this place. Sydney, the similarities are stunning. Tell me about the home invasion, the other home invasion.
Nancy, you're absolutely correct. And this happened in the early morning hours, again, just like we saw over a year later. Also, in this area of Idaho and Washington, the houses seem very similar. So these girls lived in a basement apartment. It's kind of a weird unit. It's not like you would just walk up to the front door and expect a bedroom on the second floor. You know, it's a basement. So this video shows police searching this
That is weird, whoever
oddly
is that
built
is.
house. You can see that basement door down there, right there. And there's windows all over this building in odd places. It's extremely similar, Nancy. It's
right.
Striking.
Yeah, and you know what you just said, Sid, that striking a chord, another chord in similarities. And I spent much of my career looking at prior transactions and comparing them to the case in chief in order to prove to a jury MO, modus operandi, method of operation, course of conduct, how it was affected in that case directly matches how it's affected in the case in chief. Frame of mind, in other words, scheme, coming in the middle of the night, armed with a knife, onto female victims, multiple victims in the same multi-tiered structure with a face covering. It sounds just like Kohberger. Joining me right now is Chris McDonough. You know him well, director of Cold Case Foundation, former homicide detective, and has visited the crime scene multiple times. You can see him as a star of The Interview Room on YouTube. Chris McDonough, this is what I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, either A, that is Bryan Kohberger in the other home invasion, or B, the defense is going to use the other home invasion as their defense, claiming that's the guy that did it, not Bryan Kohberger. Hey, Chris McDonough, I want you to listen to more of this Pullman PD body cam as the responding officer is talking to the victim. Listen.
Short. That's the one thing I noticed.
Thick, thin.
I couldn't say for sure, but I don't think either really side.
So you're saying like a ski mask, any glasses or lenses or anything?
Burgundy.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure it was a burgundy ski mask. So I think they were wearing gloves, yeah.
So did you hear them say?
They didn't say a thing.
Okay.
They didn't say anything.
Did they grunt or moan or exclaim or cry when you kicked them?
Nothing.
Just silence.
Just silence.
Pay dirt. Chris McDonough, while right now Kohberger is not named as a POI, a suspect in any way in that home invasion, the similarities are overwhelming. Did you hear that? The perp not wearing glasses, wearing gloves, and significantly, I'm going to have to go to shrink on this, silent throughout the attack. Jump in, Chris.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Nancy, that those similarities have got to be investigative considerations, especially after the brutal murder here of the 4 college students. And if this is what we would call a pre-incident to that particular murder, then you're going to have to start with those victims and kind of re-engineer it from there and canvass the neighborhood, and then see if you can match the similarities to the suspect in custody, i.e. allegedly Bryan Kohberger.
I mean, we've said it over and over and over that could this possibly be Bryan Kohberger's first offense? Do you go from 0 to 120 mph overnight? Many people argue no. Is this the smoking gun? According to police right now, they're not saying Kohberger had anything to do with this previous home invasion. Listen to more of that body cam.
So the windows come open, but there's no touch marks on the glass, and like all the cobwebs are intact.
Like nobody tried to move anything.
Yeah.
So maybe they just unlocked it.
Yeah.
Like maybe they thought it would be easier to
Thanks,
get
Lisa.
out that way.
Yeah.
You're right.
Just going up the stairs when I
I guarantee you.
I can't get her to pause when I wanted to for some reason. You're right. Thank you, Lisa, for reminding me. Yeah, I think they said he was like 5'3", 5'4", something like that. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big difference.
They were not expecting that.
Okay, right there, even more similarities. Did you hear that? There's no touch marks. All the cobwebs are intact. So this person ends up going up the stairs, just as in the Idaho sleighs. As of right now, we don't have any indication of any fingerprints or touch marks. And there's more. Listen.
I'm wondering why they didn't come into my room, because my room is closer.
Yeah.
So we were talking about that, and so she thought you had a television on?
I did. I could hear. That was the only thing that I could
from outside the room.
Oh, so maybe they knew that I was awake.
Between the light and the sound, they probably assumed that you were awake.
Which I was. I was wide awake. I was just laying in my bed.
Significant. You hear the victim talking, saying, I wonder why they didn't come into my room. My room is closer. We had the same issue in the Idaho sleighs, Chris McDonough, because you had Dylan Mortensen downstairs, remember? And many people wonder, well, why didn't he go into that room first? Same thinking. These two perps have the same.
I personally think that Dylan's room, I think he thought Dylan's room might have been like a closet or something at first. That's what I thought anyway. It didn't look like a bedroom to me, but that's just me.
Same thought process going. Why didn't they go into that door? And then also you hear the victim's roommate saying, I was wide awake. I was just lying in bed. Did he know I was awake? Clearly, the state believes that Bryan Kohberger had been monitoring the victim's movements. Did he know they had just ordered food and that some of them may be between asleep and awake in that groggy state? It's a fingerprint ID, Chris McDonough.
Yeah, Nancy, and I think, one of the most interesting similarities to this situation is obviously the fact that the perpetrator had a knife. And that's a very personal type of weapon that would be utilized. But there's going to be another hurdle, though, that they're going to have to overcome. That's going to be obviously the physical description of the suspect and the fact that the victim attacked the suspect.
Is it just me, or is in every picture he looks different? Like, to me, he looks different. Like, look how blue his eyes look in this picture. Eyebrows look a little bushier.
And he cowered and ran.
I don't know. His eyes look different in each
Somebody
picture.
who has the frame of mind,
look,
to commit.
he looks different to me. I don't know what is going on with this thing.
The homicide straightforward would have taken that as a control issue, and he probably would have overwhelmed that victim.
To Dr. Bethany Marshall joining us, a renowned psychoanalyst out of the LA jurisdiction, author of Deal Breaker. You can see her now on Peacock. She's at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, in your world, these similarities are startling. And again, police are not saying that Kohberger effected this home invasion just a few miles away from the University of Idaho slay, a few months before the slay. But look at the similarities, Dr. Bethany. And in your world, I find it very significant that both perps remained silent. Again, Bethany, there's only two choices, Bethany. Now, you're coming at it from your angle. I'm coming at it from mine. What, if anything, is probative to me as I prepare a case like this? Number one, either it is Kohberger that performed that home invasion, or it's not Kohberger, and the defense is going to use it as one of their chief defenses. Some other dude did it, and that's the dude. What about both perps remaining silent?
Nancy, serial killers practice for years before they work up the nerve to commit a crime, okay? So Kohberger's whole academic career was a form of practicing. He took crime classes. He was it's like a teacher's aide in a crime class. He went to bars. He hit on women. Serial killing is an obsession. So Kohberger probably thought about this for months, years. It was an obsession. He, in his mind, thought out what kind of a house he wanted to enter. He probably spent hours trying to find victims. He liked certain personalities, certain relationship configurations within the house. Perhaps in his fantasy life, he was going to go to the second floor in both crimes, kill two victims, and then come back to the ones who were more accessible so they could hear the screaming of the other victims as an act of sadism. The silence, I think, is that he was preparing himself for the crime. In respect to becoming emboldened, the first time the perp ran away, if that was Kohberger, the second time he was probably prepared to be kicked. So he got his courage up to commit the crime in a second location.
I don't like him looking like he did a white collar crime. This isn't a white collar crime. This is people, you work your whole life to get them to go to college, and then they get killed while they're asleep that night
in their bed.
And we're gonna treat this guy like he just traded insider trading of his own company stocks. It's not white collar.
Will another home invasion just a few months before the 4 beautiful University of Idaho students were slaughtered in their own beds have anything to do with the Kohberger death penalty case? This, as Idaho plans to bring back the firing squad as a primary means of execution, hopefully just in time for Kohberger's conviction and sentencing. We'll see. And what does cult mom Lori Vallow have to do with Bryan Kohberger?
Oh,
plenty.
Nothing.
All of this with the backdrop of Kohberger's defense claiming the death penalty is inhumane because it forces Kohberger to wait on death row and worry. Okay, we'll get to that, but first to this home invasion that occurred just a few months before the quadruple slay. Now, look again at this body cam video we obtained from Pullman PD. Listen.
Short. That's the one thing I noticed.
Thick, thin.
I couldn't say for sure, but I don't think either really side.
So you're saying like a ski mask, any glasses or lenses or anything?
Burgundy.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure it was a burgundy ski mask. So I think they were wearing gloves, yeah.
So did you hear them say?
They didn't say a thing.
Okay.
They didn't say anything.
Did they grunt or moan or exclaim or cry when you kicked them?
Nothing.
Just silence.
Just silence.
Joining me is Scott Eicher, founding member of the FBI Cellular Analysis Survey team. Scott, thank you for being with us. A former police officer, former homicide detective with Norfolk, Virginia PD. Scott, the likelihood that two perps will enter a multi-tiered structure with multiple female victims inside around the same time of the night, a few miles apart, a few months apart, with the same ammo, with a face mask, with a knife. What are the odds, right? I know you're not a statistician, so let me talk to you about the fact that neither of these perps that we know of yet left behind fingerprints or really any DNA other than what we know about on the knife sheath. How likely is that, Eicher, if it's not the same person?
I think it is the same person. I agree with Bethany that, serial killers are going to practice their situations. This was an attempt. He got foiled by kicked. And then all the similarities that you guys just talked about really brings that. And as a detective and homicide detective and an FBI agent, we look for those similarities between crimes to connect them. And this is definitely one of those that seems just like a prior attempt that was foiled, thank God.
To Dr. Kendall Crowns joining us, Chief Medical Examiner, Tarrant County, that's Fort Worth, esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU. Dr. Crowns, thank you for being with us. I have tried, investigated countless homicides. I don't know how many. Usually, knifing someone to death is not the mode of death. It's not the COD, cause of death. There are, I would say, more gunshot wounds and more asphyxiations, more vehicular manslaughters. Knifing someone to death, I think, is a more unique COD. What do you think?
Well, I would agree with that. Usually what we see with homicides are gunshot wounds, specifically 9mm. With stabbings, you have to get up close and personal. It's usually a domestic or someone that knows the victim, or, and has been discussed, serial killers. Strangulations, again, too, are not as common as stab wounds. So, when you look at the causes of death, gunshot wound far outweighs.
Wait, are you saying
stabbing.
Asphyxiation is more or less common? Because in my experience, knife attacks are less common than asphyxiation. When you look at all of the homicides, you've got bludgeoning, which by far beats out knifing. You've got asphyxiation, which I believe beats out knifing. And of course, gunshot wounds, as you led off with that, would by far beats out knifings.
So my personal experience, I've seen, of course, the majority of gunshot wounds, but I've seen more stabbings than strangulations, because strangulation, you really got to get up in there and just strangle them. So it's a weapon is usually trumps out using.
I'm like, where'd she go?
So I would say stabbing is not as common, and a spree stabbing, as you're seeing in this type of situation, is very uncommon, where they stab multiple individuals at the same
I bet those are cute.
Okay, I want to take that pathology and apply it to the current case and the current similar transaction we're discussing, which would be the previous home invasion. And again, Kohberger not named as a POI or suspect in that case.
Why is she doing that?
But either he did it and he is the similar, or he didn't do it and the defense is going to use it against the state. What I'm getting at, Dr. Kendall Crowns, is the likelihood of a spree stabbing, where a perp goes into a multi-tier structure around the same time of the night, a few miles apart, planning to attack more than one female with a knife. I find that highly coincidental.
I want a skeleton so bad, like he has. I want one so bad.
Well, I agree
It's
with you.
weird,
It's,
I know,
it's very
but I want
odd,
one.
and it's like I think he got spooked and then moved on to the
Look how he has his arm up.
house that he had been casing. You know, you kind of look at, for example, BTK was another criminology student. He had one of his stories is he was casing a victim and something occurred and he got spooked and he moved on and then waited and came back again. So it could be the similarities are very eerily similar. He could have just gotten spooked by that first person and moved on.
Joining me is a veteran trial lawyer, Bryan Stewart, attorney Parker McConkel. Bryan, thank you for being with us. Bryan, can we talk very quickly about the introduction under the Constitution of what we call similar transactions? In this case, really a fingerprint crime. The only difference is those two female victims didn't lose their lives. Everything else is startlingly similar. What do you think?
Well, it seems entirely speculative whether or not this person is Bryan Kohberger, but it's likely the same person. But there's no question the defense would want to use this to undermine the prosecution's case, saying that there's someone else out there. But in my mind, it shouldn't come in because it's speculative, and I think that the prosecution is going to have a good argument to keep it out.
To Sydney Sumner joining me, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. Can we talk about the home invasion? Okay. How far away was it from the quadruple murder scene?
Nancy, minutes, 10 minutes. And another thing that I wanted to mention, the victim in the home invasion was also a waitress. So she was no longer a student, but she was waitressing and still living with roommates who were in college. I found that also really striking that some of the Idaho college victims a year later, waitresses at a restaurant. So that's an interesting possibility. And as you were talking through your theories, I came up with one of my own. What if Bryan Kohberger took inspiration from this? What if he did his research and is trying to pass as this original home invader with a knife?
You know, Sydney, do you remember when we were in Idaho and we went to the Greek restaurant where at least one of the victims worked, others hung out there, and we watched people coming in and out? There's a steady flow of college students, non-college students.
They're supposed to be
that horrible, eerie feeling that Kohberger had come in and out of the restaurant as he watched the victims. And now you're telling me that in the other home invasion, the victim, one of them, was a waitress?
That is absolutely correct. She worked at Zoe's in Pullman, Washington. It's a cafe. So similar restaurant again. It's very striking.
In Pullman.
I mean, Scott Eicher, don't you see where this is going? The defense is going to win either way on this, because they're going to say, it's not him, number one, and that's the guy that did it. And if Kohberger did do the other home invasion, it can't be brought in as a similar transaction unless it can be proven he did the other home invasion. So the state right now is hogtied on this.
I agree. It sounds like because of the short time of that home invasion, guy comes in, he kicks him, he falls down and leaves. But he probably didn't leave like a knife like he did in the quadruple homicide. So what evidence do they have to show that prior incident was Kohberger? That's going to cause a problem, I think. And I think both ways. Hopefully it can't be brought in from either side.
The person who did this crime looked at one of the victims and said, "I'm here to help you." If that's not malice, if that's the most type of evil that you could ever hear of, that shouldn't be rewarded with a suit.
And a fresh haircut every time,
and a
clean
beacon
shaven.
meal. That's wild. That's wild.
And somehow, cult mom Lori Vallow rears her ugly head in the middle of all of this. What does she have to do?
Do we have to talk about her? Look at the hair. Okay. I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up because the picture came up the other day. I used to wear my hair like that until I didn't. Until she walked into court looking like this with her coffee makeup and her little ponytail. I have not worn my hair like that since. I was about to start again, and then look, she rears her ugly head to remind me, don't do it.
With the Bryan Kohberger quadruple murder prosecution. Here she is in court. Listen.
So the defense, we keep filing motions for discovery since we don't know if it's some kind of strategy of the state that they're holding back this actual evidence of conspiracy in hopes that the defendant won't have time to prepare a proper defense against the evidence that comes forward at the last minute.
Oh, give me a break.
This court has denied every motion the defense has filed to acquire this evidence.
Okay, wait a minute. Wasn't she claiming a mental defect? Did you hear her reeling off the law and the facts? She's representing her case in another murder-related case.
Yeah.
We got that from our friends at EastIdahoNews.com. Yes, somehow cult mom Lori Vallow has insinuated herself into the Bryan Kohberger case. Listen.
Kohberger's defense appears to be taking a page out of Lori Vallow Daybell's trial, where Judge Stephen Boyce removed the death penalty after prosecutors failed to turn over thousands of documents and hundreds of hours of jail phone calls until 3 weeks before the trial. But the key difference between the cases is that Vallow Daybell insisted on a speedy trial, while Kohberger has waived that quick timeline. With more than 6 months remaining until trial, Judge Hibbler has plenty of other remedies available before taking such a drastic measure.
Straight out to Sydney Sumner, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. Sydney, what does cult mom Lori Vallow have to do with Bryan Kohberger?
So, Nancy, what the defense is arguing in Kohberger's case is that the state's expert witness list was not complete. They're saying that it's too vague, it's overbroad, not everyone is named. So they are threatening to try and get this death penalty stricken again.
Do you remember the time you went out and you did 700 freaking surveys without telling anybody until you got caught? Yeah, you need to sit down, Ann Taylor, for a little bit. You should still be in trouble for that.
If that expert witness list is not amended. So that's exactly what happened in Lori Vallow's case. The judge who saw this huge failure to turn over evidence to the defense with only 3 weeks away from trial really had no choice but to employ this extreme remedy of taking the death penalty off the table. There was no way the defense could possibly sift through all of that evidence at the last second.
Okay, Brian Stewart with me, veteran trial lawyer. Brian, I don't want to go DEFCON 4 on this, get too far in the weeds, but the problem in cult mom Lori Vallow's case, she had a speedy trial demand. And if the state didn't try it within a certain amount of time, which varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, there would be a total acquittal. Repeat, if the state didn't try it within a certain period of time, there would be an outright acquittal. So the deal struck was the judge took the DP death penalty off the table. We don't have that problem here, but the defense is trying it. They're saying because the expert witness list is not complete, we don't have a trial for months and months and months to go, that the DP should be taken off the table. That's what they're doing right now. Agree, disagree?
Well, in this situation, the constitutional protections that we have are more important than any one case. And so if the prosecution didn't turn over this information in charge that they should have turned over, it's in all of our best interest that evidence be excluded, even if it damages the prosecution's case in this situation.
You know, speaking of the death penalty in this case, everybody sit down for this, the latest defense argument. You may need to lay down for this one. Listen to the death penalty argument made by the defense.
I don't believe that our Constitution allows for us to move forward and make him sit on death row for years and years and years. And the way Idaho's doing it right now isn't really working. It's
You don't
not
have a choice, Ann
realistic
Taylor.
option. I think to have him sit on death row and say, Idaho's going to figure out how to kill you at some point in the future in a way that isn't cruel and unusual and in violation of your rights, I just don't think that the constitutional protections allow that to happen.
Really, Chris
Oh,
McDonough?
gosh.
Former homicide detective, star of the interview room. Wait, is she saying, well, if you kill him now, I'm fine with the death penalty, but if you make him wait, tick, 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 that's inhumane? Am I hearing her? Can she hear herself?
Yeah, can
Can
you
she
believe
hear
it, Nancy? I
herself?
mean, can you picture the founding fathers, signing all the documents that have made this country great, thinking, you know what, there's going to be a guy named Bryan Kohberger who's going to have to sit for quite some time, and the state's going to have to figure it out. It's just ludicrous.
I'm
Just
sorry.
a really
The founding
shallow
fathers.
argument.
I mean, Chris McDonough, I'm looking at my notes.
Didn't Jay Logston make a reference to the founding fathers or something way back when? I think he might have. Okay, now I'm pause. I don't know how to get her to I don't know what's going on.
On Ann Taylor's argument. She's really
There we
good
go.
lawyer. I mean, she's grasping at straws here, but what can she do? And my big note was, ha ha. Waiting equals cruel, unusual punishment under the Constitution. And again, ha ha. So I guess she's okay if they kill him immediately. That would be the argument. But that's not all. Listen to more of Taylor's argument.
We think that the court ought to strike the death penalty in this case and not allow the case to go forward as a death penalty case because Idaho does not have a current means of executing anybody. When somebody sits on death row and there's no real means of executing them, that is dehumanizing to that person. That's similar.
Say there's no means under Idaho law,
Dehumanizing? What about sneaking in the undercover of the night into a home on a college campus, pretty much on a college campus, right off of it, and stabbing to death 4 innocent, beautiful, young adults? That's humane? That's humane? You help, allegedly, if you're guilty, you help them out. So it's only fair that you get to be taken out in a humane way also. Now, firing squad, give them the firing squad.
method of execution is lethal injection, and if unavailable, then the firing squad.
Sorry.
You rely significantly on the idea that lethal injection is not available.
I don't make the rules. Okay, now I can't get her done. Mute again.
Based upon the quote-unquote botched execution of Mr. Creech.
Dr. Bethany Marshall, please help me. Okay, not in a professional capacity, of course, but Dr. Bethany, she is now saying Kohberger is going to have to wait to find out how he's going to be executed. What about the victims' families?
Do they ever tell? They never tell. They never tell you. It's not like you're okay, you're sentenced to the death penalty and you're going to die by blah, blah, blah. Like I don't think they tell you that. So you normally do wait. And laws and things change. You know, I'm sure they'll get the medicine for the inhuman, where they just inject them and,
They know how their daughters
not less
and
humane.
son were murdered.
Then they went.
They were knifed to death. They were slaughtered like animals in a slaughterhouse. Okay? But yet, Kohberger getting 3 hots in a cot, paid for by me and you.
They were trapped.
That's inhumane compared to what the victims' families go through the rest of their life.
Nancy, Kohberger loves to wait. He's spent his whole life waiting. Waiting is not a problem for him. And when you think about the psychology of serial killers, they are so filled and full of sexually deviant, sadistic fantasies that often there are long periods of time between actual slayings because they are very satisfied with their fantasy life. In some ways, this is like a dream come true for him. He doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to support himself. He can just fantasize all day long. This is not
You know, you put it
dehumanizing.
so much more delicately than I would, fantasizing. What he's going to do is sit behind bars and masturbate to the memory of what he did, if in fact he's proven guilty. I think
Nancy!
that's what you're saying.
Where'd she go? She said that. I didn't say
You know
that.
what, Dr. Bethany, I appreciate your delicate nature, but we are talking about the murder of 4 young Idaho students, brutally, literally butchered like animals. And Sydney Sumner, our investigative reporter, let me just clarify one thing. The defense is whining about what all another killer, Thomas Creech, went through before the DP. Bottom line, they couldn't find a vein. I never had a nurse in the hospital the whole time I was in.
What's going on with her? I don't think it's me.
And there after delivery that could find a vein. Okay.
I mean, they
happens
have
all the time.
machines for it.
That's the problem. They couldn't find his vein.
I think I paused her.
That is, in fact, what they are complaining about. Yep, he must have been dehydrated that morning, just like so many people are in the hospital on a day-to-day basis. And that is their argument, that lethal injection is not available.
Kohberger's defense team has hired cell phone expert Cy Ray to testify in support of Kohberger's alibi. The former police officer and founder of ZX bases his analysis on the pings that a cell phone sends to a nearby tower using the software Trax. But many have questioned the reliability of Ray's data. Many other experts say Trax's methodology is not based in science, and a Colorado judge has even banned prosecutors from using the software in their cases.
Scott Eicher joining us, founder member, FBI Cellular Analysis Survey Team. We now know that cellular and digital data is a big bone of contention in the trial. What's happening, Scott?
Well, we know that the police department, with the assistance of the FBI and other law enforcement agencies, got data from Mr. Kohberger's phone. Not only did they get it on the night of the quadruple homicide, but they also got it prior to that time and afterwards. So we can see that information. What they have found is that on the night of the quadruple homicide, he had turned his phone off. He turned it off.
I don't know why it keeps going out like
for a good amount of time. I think it was for about 2.5 hours. And what they also did see is that he had left his house in Pullman and gone south, but then he turned his phone off while he's supposedly committing the crime, and then on the way back home turned his phone back on. We see this all the time in criminals that don't want their phone to be tracked to the scene of the crime. We did this in bank robbery cases. We'd follow the guys days before where they'd go scout out the bank, leaving their phones on, and then the day of the crime, turn it off, thinking that wouldn't show that they're there. But we could see that pattern of life.
Yeah, the pattern.
Going to be helpful to the prosecution.
They never turned it off before, but all of a sudden do.
Amazon order of the knife, we believe, is the murder weapon. More analysis reveals more evidence. Listen.
This is the search warrant. These ASIN numbers are basically inventory control numbers for Amazon. This is the Amazon ASIN that I put in, and this is the product that came up. And the other search warrants started to chase the receipts to Amazon, to Walmart, and the banks. They started pushing search warrants out to the banks, and they were looking for a money trail that purchased potentially a weapon like this.
Okay, joining me, Chris McDonough from the interview room, and that was from the interview room on YouTube. You know, Chris McDonough, you and I talk a lot about what one single piece of evidence can prove, that it can prove so many different things, not just that Kohberger ordered the murder weapon, according to the state, but your analysis reveals so much more evidence. In a nutshell, what?
So, Nancy, that could be gold, to your point, right? That Amazon number, just think of it as like a VIN number for a car. It's a product number that like 350 million products that go through Amazon have. and those numbers are unique to each of those products. So once they discovered that knife that came up, then they're going to chase the money on that. And that money trail in of itself
I don't know why they keep cutting
will
out.
be able, if you can get a receipt on that, then that's
Thank you,
going to
True
give you a
Crime
time,
Alibis.
dates, those kind of things. And then you can really get into the head of Kohberger at the time he was making these purchases. So that's going to lead into a whole new direction for the investigation.
What kind of direction?
Well, it'll give you, pre-incident behavior. It'll give you his thought process. It will also lead
I want to refresh
into,
it, but then I don't want to mess it
the
up.
type of, why he's purchasing that particular knife. Is there a sexual motivation?
I'm about to. I don't know why she's messing up so bad tonight.
Is there,
Let me
going down those lines?
figure it out.
So is it a fantasy that he's buying this knife? Remember, that knife is almost a symbol of a phallic symbol in relationship to this type of attack. Because
I don't know how
so
you're going to
brutal.
get that off an Amazon order history, but I trust you.
Defense is also moving to suppress Kohberger's statements the night of his arrest, which begs the question, did the accused quadruple murderer incriminate himself? Kohberger's attorneys claim when Kohberger was held at gunpoint and had his hands zip-tied, he made statements to the officers surrounding him despite not having been read his rights. The defense further wants any statements Kohberger made in transport and without an attorney present during interrogation at the Monroe County Correctional Facility stricken.
The harder the defense fights a particular point, the more damaging and probative it is for the state. Now we are learning the defense is fighting tooth and nail to keep statements out. To Sydney Sumner, investigative reporter, what statements? They have not been revealed, but we see they're arguing about
Thank
statements
you,
that he made at
Ladybug.
the time police showed up to the parents' Poconos home, statements he made in transit, and more. So in order to argue, we want these statements to be suppressed. Number one, the statements have to be made. So there are statements. And number two, they have to be something incriminating to the point the defense is fighting to have them suppressed. Get it?
You're absolutely correct, Nancy. So we have no idea what Kohberger said, but we do know that that was a dynamic entry into the house. The entire family was surrounded by officers, held at gunpoint. So this must have been a very stressful situation. So is he begging for mercy? Is he telling them he's surrendering? Is he admitting some form of guilt, just enough of a nugget for someone to twist that in a way to make it incriminating? We don't know. But it will be interesting to find out if that evidence makes it into court.
Yeah, and Chris McDonough joining me, veteran
I
homicide
think he
detective,
used to
started the
box.
interview room on YouTube. Chris, it doesn't have to be, I didn't do it. It could be, I was in Hawaii when that happened. It could be, I don't know anything about the slave, the 4 students, before the 4 students have even been mentioned. It could be any number of things that may not be an outright confession, but indicate intimate knowledge of the murders.
Yeah, and those spontaneous utterances like that are just beautiful because there's no pressure in relationship to the subject just kind of asking a question. Sometimes there are even questions, right, Nancy? I mean, how many of your dependents have asked the cops questions when they first hook them up? Like, anybody else arrested? Why are you arresting me? Those are great statements.
Dr. Bethany Marshall, when people are trying to lie and they don't have their statement ready, they can say any number of things that are telling, not necessarily an outright confession.
Nancy, especially since he's thought so much about this, there's a lot of information rolling around in that head about the crimes, right? How much time he spent stalking the victims, what time the murder took place, how the bodies were left. I mean, the information that could come out of his mouth is endless. And if his anxiety level is high, he's not going to be able to think clearly about what he knows that he shouldn't know.
Now we remember an American hero, Private First Class Michael Latu, Marion County Sheriff's, South Carolina, just 34, passed away in the line of duty. 2018 recognized Deputy and Patrolman of the Year, survived by grieving parents Mary and Manass, stepfather Daniel, and beloved dog Tango. American hero, Private Michael Latu. Thank you to our guests for being with us tonight, but especially to you.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. We appreciate you. I was actually I was being nosy when we were watching Nancy, and I saw that sorry, my leg itches. So I saw that there was just something in my mind was like, go check on Madalena's case. And I'm talking about Madalena Kojikari. Apparently, there are new warrants that were unsealed. So I don't know if I can find them online. I'm sure I can. If not, I have a friend that runs the Facebook page for Madalena, and I'm sure she has them. If I can't get them that way, I'll make sure I go through. I'm going to go through Cornelius anyway and do a FOIA request now that I know that they're releasing things, because they weren't releasing anything for the longest time. So I know that they had released some stuff about the burn pit in the backyard. They had just mentioned it in the last warrant. They had dropped some warrants before they arrested her. We went over those, but now there's more warrants out. So I'm excited. I'm excited to read these. I really am. I'm excited to hear what they have to say. So we'll be doing a live over her case very soon. And if you haven't heard of her case before, please, I beg you, I'm begging you, make sure you come to that live. Even if you never come to another live on my channel ever again, make sure you come for Madalena Kojikari, because that little girl does need people to listen to her story. Like, seriously, even if you never come again, just come for that one. Just come for that one. That means a lot. It's not a candle. I wish it was. Well, this is a candle though. It's just a little like I don't know what they're called, ramekin, like a little, you can just like stick like, I don't know, rings or something in it. I got it at Target for Valentine's Day, and then I got this little like heart candle. It smells good. Oh, and I have these actually from last year, but I never put them out. Look at these little guys. I have them on Vincent's desk. Oh, I'm like knocking stuff over to get to them. I should put these out here too. Look at these. They're cute. They're little gnomes. I have some, like, I have 2 sets of these, so I have some in, like, out in the living room. I should, you can't see them there, but I'll figure it out to where you can see them. But I never decorate, but I'm going to put the red thing on here too, the red cover, but I don't know, something made me want to decorate for Valentine's a little bit. So I just got a couple candles. I got the macaroon, and I need the macaroon pillow now. They have a macaroon pillow. I just got to go find it. I stopped someone at Target today. I was like, it says you have these in store. And I'm like, they're probably just not out yet, huh? I was hoping she'd say, I'll go back and find them for you. You know, I really, hello, do you not know me? I'm here every day. But if you haven't caught, if you need a good sale, I'm telling you, if you need a good sale, go to Target. They're doing their clearance right now. So they're clearancing a lot of stuff. If your Macy's is closing, what? You had a dream I was pregnant? Oh gosh, Mary Beth. Wouldn't that be something else? Wouldn't that be something? Could you imagine? I don't know how I don't know if I would be a nice pregnant lady. Don't wish that on me yet, Mary Beth. I bet you that would happen, because I'm like trying to lose weight, and I've been working out. That's usually when it does happen. When you're trying to lose weight, bam, you're pregnant. I bet it was a sweet dream though. I bet it was a sweet dream. I never remember my dreams. And if I do, then they're very vivid. And it's I'm like, Thanks, Mary Beth. I think I'd be a good mom. I don't answer my door unless I know someone's coming beforehand. Oh, blue cake butterfly happened to me today. So the other day I went to go turn on the shower and the knob came off. Like the whole it's big. And I was like, whoops. So then I tried to put it back on there. And of course, I put it on upside down and I couldn't get it back off to like, turn it around. So I had to call maintenance. And I put in a maintenance request. I said on the maintenance request, we've been here 7 years. They should know. They know that I have 2 dogs and I'm a crazy anxiety mess. I get anxiety from, especially knocking on the door. That's a PTSD thing I have. It's just something traumatic happened in my life and I can't do door knocking. Well, they knocked on the door today. Didn't even ring the buzzer. If they would have rang the buzzer, I probably wouldn't even been as scared. But like for them to be, that means they're already in one door. Do you know what I mean? Because like we have a downstairs door you have to come through before you can come in through our door. So I feel like that added security there. And I'm like, who could that be? And I'm not dressed. I literally just finished working out. Just like I wasn't dressed for someone to come in. I was dressed, but I wasn't ready for like someone to be in here, So I'm trying to find a robe. Vincent was laughing at me. He's like, you wore your robe. And I'm like, yeah, just leave me alone. Okay. I wore my summer robe too. It was like more of a, I don't know, like a thinner material, but I'm just like, who is here? But they weren't going to give up. They tried to open the door. Good girl, Riley. My dog, Araya, the brown one. Oh, she was not going to let them in. Whoever it was. That's why I stepped out and I was like, hold on a second. Let me get my dogs because she was so mad. They cracked the door and they pulled it back. Like she was right at that crack. Like she was going to bite. Like and they know it's in when it says access to your house or we allowed access. It says, no, I have 2 dogs that will bite you. Like they are very protective of me. They are very, I'm here there with them every day, like I thought about that the other day. I'm like, I'm literally with these dogs every minute of the day, pretty much, unless I go like out to doctor's appointment, shop or something. But like, I'm like, these are my girls. Yeah. Like if I'm upset and I'm crying or something, like if I get sad, they don't want nothing to do with me until I'm like, okay, it's okay. I'm okay, girls. And then they come running to me as long as when I say I'm okay, it's okay. But they were like, yeah, I was excited. We're only 5 away from 100 likes. Hit that like button and then I'll jump off here. Did I hit the like button today? Look, I didn't even hit my own like button. So we got 96 now. You got to like your own video, right? Is that conceited? I don't think that's conceitedness. I think that's just the algorithm. So yeah, they came in, they fixed it. They were super nice. They were super nice. They were new. They were new maintenance guys. And I thought it was so funny. She's over here like snoring right now. One of them are. That might be Mia. Yeah, that's Mia. So if you ever hear something snoring, it's not Vincent, it's the dog. It's the dogs. It's not conceited. Okay, good. I don't think so. Can you hear them? I can hear like they're loud. Man, you're sleeping good. And then I'll get up like after the live and they'll get up and they'll just follow me wherever I go. We might put my eye in my prosthetic in tonight. I got my prosthetic eye, my new one yesterday. I'm scared. I'm scared. It's me. Like Vince was like, oh yeah, I could do that for you. I'm just afraid that he's not going to be able to get it in. And then what if we can't get the old one in? Because this one feels even thicker. I don't know. Who has Yorkies? Yorkies are. You have Chihuahuas? Jenna? Oh, my dog loves Chihuahuas. She thinks they're like appetizers. She used to be a little dog fighter. She don't fight dogs no more. But we used to have 2 Chihuahuas and they'd come out of their side yard just, running the show. They're Chihuahuas, right? And then my dog's like 40 pounds and she would be like, all right. Like, trying to get to she's so good now. But then we had a Great Dane that lived here. They just moved last year. She loved that Great Dane. I had never seen her act like she was like she thought that was her boyfriend. Like she never barked at him. She'd like go up on the hill and look at him. But when it came to the Chihuahuas on the other side of the road, she was like, didn't like them. Oh, thanks, DM. I figured I'd put it on there. Hey, Lord Mama. You have 2 cats? I have 1 cat, Lucy Day. I wish I could get another one. Oh, thank you, True Crime Lullabies. Thank you so much. We got 2 minutes left. Yeah, Squeaky Wheel. They really are. Oh, thank you, True Crime Lullabies. You just made sure we made our goal. Thank you. The confetti, I love it. I love that confetti when it comes down. I need like a balloon and like a little string I could pull, like balloons that come down when that happens. How cool would that be? But then I have to collect all the balloons at the end of the night and then put them back up. And if we did it more than once a night, I would be like, okay, I have no more balloons. But I could get some balloons over at Party City. I heard that they're closing a lot of them, like all of them. All the rest of the Bed Bath & Beyonds, which because they were in bankruptcy, they came out of it and now they're going back. They're all closing again. Macy's is all closing. I was trying to think of who else is all closing because that's the time to get the sales. Like when we went past Macy's and they had, okay, if they have the black and yellow signs or they're like blue and yellow or blue and red, those are the going out of business signs. Even if they just say like sale 30, 40, 50%, they're going out of business. So make sure you take, I've worked in malls way too long. Way too long. 99 likes. Oh, you got 3 cats? I would love to get a kitten. Oh, I want one so bad. Because my cat, sometimes he's back there. I always look back there for them. My cat is 16 or 17 now. And I just want him to like teach the kitten how to run these dogs, like how to like be like, I'm the boss around here. I don't know, but I don't know how he would feel about that. He might not like that. Ralph Lauren's going to be in the Hamptons. Well, should I go? Big Lots is closing. Yeah, Jenna, that's where I was going to go there. I haven't been there for years. I thought, why don't you go there and just see I need for nothing. We don't need any furniture. We can't stick one more piece of furniture in this place. It'll explode. But I heard that Big Lots was going. I heard some of the Dollar Trees are going. Like, some of them are going out. Who else? I think I heard Hobby Lobbies. I love Hobby Lobby. Don't shut down my Hobby Lobby. You bought a lot when they went out of business? Good night, SSD. Oh, I've never heard of that place before, Mary Beth. Yeah, Express, they're closing their stores. I'm just trying to, I remember like random things that are closing. Walgreens, yeah, and CVS, which just don't close my CVS, and Target. I like them. Thank you, Castleberry. There was 100. I've never heard of Caldor. No, I don't think so. I've only seen that they were going to close down a few, not like a lot, but I thought it said Hobby Lobby. Maybe it was a Hobby Lobby. Maybe I'm lying too. Yeah. Maybe it was like Michael's or like Joanne. You know what I mean? Maybe it was one of those because we have all 3 here. So it could have been that. Well, awesome. Thank you guys. I told you I wasn't going to get off here until I got that 100 like. I know all the stores closed. It's really sad. Consumers are buying online more. I'm an online boutique. I could feel it. Like I could feel the difference. I told Vincent today, like what if we converted, like we have like garages here. I was like, what if we converted one into like a small store? Because I have so many clothes, like especially clothes that are like I have a section on my Facebook that is consignment because I have a lot of clothes that I bought from a boutique store they were extremely expensive clothing items, and I wore them maybe once, twice tops. Because I was always buying when my whole paycheck went to that company. That's how it went. That's just how it went. So I was like, I can sell some of that stuff because we have like totes and totes and totes full, like 12 or more. And then I have clothes in here. I have clothes over there. I'm like, we just need to, so we can just get rid of some of it so we can get new. You know what I mean? So we can get new. Yes. Ever since Amazon. Yeah. And I personally think when I do get a store, when we figure out where we're going to live, I do think my store will succeed. I do. And it's because not to be conceited, this doesn't mean to be conceited, but because of me. When you walk into a store anymore, you don't get greeted. No one says hello to you. No one wants to shop with you. No one wants to share a story with you, or, like, I don't know. When I worked in a boutique store, like I welcome, as soon as someone came in, welcome in, you know me, I like to say welcome. And I did it every time too. Welcome in, is there anything I can help you shop for? And I would like help them, like, and work with them. And I think that is what is going to set me apart, because I've noticed that when I left that company, the people that came in after me, I would go in and they didn't know who I was after a while. And I would shop like a regular customer, and I never, not once, ever was greeted. But in 3 stores that they owned, I would go into each store and no one would greet me. They just have their head down behind the register. Get your ass from around the register. I hate when people stand behind the register. I'm a salesperson at heart, but I'm not a cold call salesperson. I like to get to know people and put them in pretty close type of salesperson. So yeah, customer service nowadays doesn't exist. Oh my, Castleberry, when I was in Target the other day, and I need to go back and find this lady because I really should have got the manager and told them thank you. I'm going back to like the outdoor stuff. Like that's where I was at. I was just kind of like walking around, and she was like, all of our candles today are buy one, get one half off. I looked at Vincent. I was like, she talked to me. Like, I could not believe that someone from Target told me about a sale. I've never had anyone talk to me there before, other than if I like asked them a question. Oh, me too. I'm always in sweats. Well, actually, I've got leggings on. But if I go out, I still wear sweats. But I do have some cute clothes. They don't fit me anymore. I gained a little weight and I didn't buy afterwards. I bought, I think I have mediums from our vacation, but they're all summer. So can't wear that. But I do have plenty of winter clothes now because I, had to get some stuff. Yeah, emotionless machines. It's ever since 2020. And I want to bring us out of that, So that's what I'm going to try to do with my business this year. I want to try to like set something up. I've looked at storefronts. I'm sure I could probably get one for a pretty good price, especially now that a lot of businesses are going out. But I don't know if I want to like dedicate like I don't know if I want to sign a lease yet. Do you know what I mean? I'm just really nervous about. That's a big thing. Plus the spot I wanted, they put in a Pandora store and it looks beautiful there, but it's where I wanted my store to be. So I'd have to walk through the mall again and really have to look and see and make sure it's a place I like. So I've met with the mall management before, and the guy that actually leases. So, and we talked to him. I think that I can get a good spot there if I just talk with him. So thank you guys for being here tonight. The music is a little bit louder at the end of the live, so don't forget. I don't want to hurt anybody's ears. But let me know if you guys like it in the comments below, if you like the new intro, outro, all that stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next live. Bye guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up. Just like a spark that's breaking out, can't make a stop.